Hello and welcome to the show. Now, the last couple of weeks, as you know, we've been talking to people that make and effect change in the world via some means or another. One of those people is Lance Brown with his book called The Driver of Change. Lance, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Faizal. Thanks for having me.
Now, it's very interesting. I read the book and I understand the title now, The Driver of Change.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go into all of that. But Lance Brown as a person first.
Yeah.
Who is Lance Brown?
Okay, I grew up on the Cape Flats. Was exposed to a bit of harsh elements. At the age of 14, we used to sit in my friend's house, and his house was directly opposite an open field. And many Saturdays we used to witness brutal gang fights on a regular basis. You know, first year of high school, police brutality on students, police coming onto school grounds, shooting tear gas, rubber bullets, and actually beating kids for standing up for equal opportunity. I then finished school at the age of, I got a job as a delivery driver and a filing clerk, and at the age of 27, I got married. Is it all saying that a woman worries about the future until she meets a man, and a man never worries about the future until he meets a woman? And
Yeah,
that resonated with me. I wasn't going anywhere with this job until I made a commitment. And a few years later, I found myself in London presenting to professionals about the South African tax system. So my journey is basically from delivery driver to becoming a tax consultant for one of the world's leading financial services firms.
So I read the book. It's called The Driver of Change. And
Yeah.
I understand that the driver that you're talking about was, if one reads that in context, it was the delivery driver, and now you're becoming the driver of change because you've effected such change in your life through certain things. And you talk about a lot of things in the book.
Yeah.
That story of yours, to start off, it's an interesting journey.
Yeah.
And I think everybody in life has a journey. That's what life's about.
Yeah.
And then you get interesting journeys. And I think you are on one of those interesting journeys. And you're on one that perhaps, you're one that's using your journey to effect change in others. And so you write the book, The Driver of Change.
Correct.
So we start the book off, and you start with the story of the filing cabinet and filing and reading the books and the notes on taxation.
Correct.
And that's where the interest starts.
Absolutely. I wasn't going anywhere with the job as a filing clerk, and I needed to make some changes. And if there's one thing you take away from the talk is once you start doing things to the best of your ability, doors open and opportunities are created. And amazing things will start to happen for you, and amazing things started to happen for me. I was a filing clerk, and the more I got into this files, I recognized an opportunity that could make a difference to my career, but also could make a difference to my life. And each day I'll take a different section of the Income Tax Act home and actually go through these various definitions, gross income.
But I have an issue with that.
Yeah,
The issue I have with that is that generally the person filing the actual documents, for some experts,
yeah.
don't kind of understand the content of such documents. So what were you finding interesting in the fact that these were tax documents that you're busy filing?
Yeah.
So what did you find interesting in them?
I think this is the filing job I did for many, many years, and I wasn't going anywhere until I made that decision. And when I looked at it, you know, the stuff started to make sense. And, you know, I was dealing with a lot of consultants who deals with these files and who deals with the individuals on a regular basis. And I recognized and I thought, you know, if they could do it, you know, let me find out more what the tax system is all about.
But were you also trying to discover, was it something that would interest you in the first place?
Yeah. There was something that I always knew that there's something more out there than just being a filing clerk or a delivery driver. And I needed to find what that was all about. And I think during doing the driving and dealing with a lot of accountants, you know, you get to work with them on a regular basis, and you can see how they interact. And I recognized that opportunity that I could find something that could make a difference, you know, to my career.
So you thought that this was a space that you wanted to be in,
Yeah.
but not as a filing clerk, but someone on the other side of the coin there.
Correct.
So what happens then? I know that you embark on the 7-year degree.
Yeah.
I think that I don't think that it's important how long one takes to finish a degree.
Yeah.
I think what's important is the fact that you're on the path to finish the degree. So you take 7 years.
Yeah.
You're now happily married.
Yeah.
You're filing your documents.
Yeah.
And you're doing the degree at the same time. How did you find that part in your life? Was it challenging at all?
It was very challenging. I think from a financial point of view, you know, you don't earn much money when you're doing filing clerk. But if you've got that goal that you want to finish your degree, if there's a will, there's a way. Obviously you have to make lots of sacrifices. You can't go out very often because you can only afford a certain amount of subjects per semester, and therefore it took 7 years to complete. But I remained focused, and this is one of the things I talk about in the book as well. When you set goals, you have to remain focused and you have to complete it, because very often you set a goal and you work towards that goal, and sometimes you just miss out before you've achieved that goal, and you missed out on what could have transpired if you just stuck in there a little bit longer. I had no choice. I had more responsibility now. I had a family, and I needed to make sure that I complete this degree, because I know that's going to open lots of other doors for me as well.
Now you have a group of people that surround you at that time. Obviously you're the filing clerk in the office, and you are now also studying to become one of the guys on the other side of the table. How did that all go down? Was there a level of support, or was some people wondering what on earth is going on?
I think some people probably wondered, because I was doing this job for many years until I started getting interested in the tax system. And I think when people see that you're generally enthusiastic and you've got a good attitude, they want to help and they support you. And this is what I found. These people are genuine and they help you and support you, because they know that what you're doing your job, you're doing it well, and they also don't want to see somebody just do filing for the rest of their life. And this is one of the motivating factors. I've got these people to help and support me and guide me, and it's not easy just being a filing clerk and all of a sudden you're dealing with income tax. But if you've got the support and you've got a winning attitude, people are generally I find they genuinely want to help.
It's graduation day.
Yeah.
What happened? How did it feel?
Wow, it was a huge, long journey, and I had my parents there, and I was the first person in my whole family to graduate, to have an actual qualification.
So you're standing there capped and the family's around. And so obviously that's an emotional moment at the same time.
Absolutely, it's a very emotional moment, because my parents there, my wife is there, and they've been with me on this journey. And finally I got to the stage, because I think they know the sacrifice that goes into it, studying, working full time and studying part time, and many hours, early hours of the morning. So they know what all goes into studying part time. And I think it was a huge relief for me, once you got to qualification, it was a huge relief knowing that, you sacrificed now, and now you can actually take a step back and exhale and say, okay, this is one of the things that I can take off my to-do list now.
Correct, yes. Now, so you re-enter the workspace, and the workspace now with a different capacity and designation. How did you find that transition? I want to get a bit into the philosophies that we find coming across in the book, but before we get there, pragmatically, what was the transition like? I mean, noting the fact that you were dealing with people that were used to seeing you doing the filing and the driving and whatever it was, and now the suit and tie and the boardroom.
Well, one of the things that actually took place was I was working for the one partner, and he actually left to start his small business, and he asked me if I would like to join him. And I decided, I've been with the company for a long time, I'm going to join him. And this was actually my training ground. It's where you go into a small company and you do all the different, the taxes that's out there. And this was actually my training ground. But again, people see that you're enthusiastic, that you do your job to the best of your ability, and they support you. And when I joined the partner, he was very willing to help and support me. And I think they saw the potential there as well.
So you get into the business world, and I know in the book you talk about this trip to London, and I think you always had this want to go to London, and then certain things happened then, and I want you to relate that story to us and how that has sort of been a defining moment for you. I know that the fact that you mention it in the book, I know that it's a defining moment of the way that you see things and how things should be dealt with. Tell us a bit about that story.
Yeah, you're referring to, as a boy growing up in Mitchell's Plain on the Cape Flats, we also have dreams, and one of my dreams is always to go to London.
Because the planes fly over all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. So I decided to pursue international assignment. And I didn't know where to start, but you use the resources that's available to you. So the first thing I did was I purchased some personal income tax books from the UK, and I contacted friends who's been in London for a number of years and got them to send me down the income tax returns so I can get used to the compliance procedures and see how much they earn. But I also went onto companies' websites and received weekly tax updates. And after about 5 months after gathering all this information, I decided to get in touch with this large company And I didn't know where to start, but use the resources that's available to you. I went onto the internet and I made a list of all the directors in this large company. And each day, with lots of enthusiasm, with lots of passion, with lots of energy, I would start typing. My name is Lance Brown. I've got a passion for tax. I've been doing research in the UK tax system and seeking an opportunity to gain international experience. What do you think?
In an exchange program. I remember and I recall reading that part.
Yeah.
You were at it every day and you mostly got the no's or no responses.
No responses,
Yes.
yeah. But I still had quite a few names. I continued, and about 6 weeks later, they came back to me to say they love my enthusiasm. They want to offer me international assignment, and I was going to be based out in South Kensington.
And how did that feel? I mean, was it was just maybe a surreal feeling, or did you know this is really happening?
Absolutely. I mean, South Kensington, I had no idea where that was.
I mean, like Kensington in Cape Town or somewhere else. So this philosophy was a bit different, yeah.
Yeah, but nothing beats perseverance, patience, and most importantly, determination.
You had an incident on a flight that was going on there.
Yeah.
I mean, I would think that it was IRS that was taking you off or something because you're involved with tax, but it wasn't that, it was something else that was going on.
Yeah, during the time at London, there was a bomb scare, and as a result of this, the security was heightened all over, but especially at the airports. So I was sitting in this restaurant watching these heavily armed military police walking by. So eventually went through all the security, got onto the plane, and I was ready for this long and comfortable flight back. And then I heard somebody saying C34A, and that instantly rang a bell because it was my seat
I'm not
number.
going to sit on that one again.
And as I looked up, I saw these 3 military police approaching me, and my heart started to beat faster and faster. I was taken off the plane because somebody thought that I looked suspicious.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Under what circumstances, under what basis?
They took another guy off from the same area, actual fact, and
I think in the book you mentioned that there was someone that was sort of dressed similar to you,
yeah,
and that looked similar to you.
correct.
And that's where the confusion started.
Yeah, so we had similar jackets, similar jeans, and this guy's got a hobby of taking pictures of people in motion.
Oh.
At the airport.
Okay, so there's some type of intelligence that was going on.
Yeah, so some paranoid passenger
Yes.
who saw the two of us standing close together. I mean, I didn't recognize this guy.
Yeah.
He decided to notify the airport security, and they needed to act.
But going down the line, that passenger did some favors for you in life, because the way that I look at your book and I understand that you are one of those people that don't believe that any situation is a bad situation.
Correct.
Something good comes out of every bad.
Yes.
And I think every successful person believes that.
Yeah.
So tell us a bit about that. So what comes out of this incident?
So we at the airport, and next thing you know, the plane starts to move, and I knew, Lance, you are not going home tonight. And
3 days in London.
yeah, after lots of questioning, we were taken to a 5-star hotel and really treated for one day. I remember sitting in this beautiful breathtaking.
And this was to make up because we had the wrong person here.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember sitting in this, beautiful room. I put my head on this bed and I closed my eyes and I said, Lance, this is the life. I chose to use this experience.
I mean, 5-star hotel in London with the exchange rate, I mean, like really.
Absolutely. I mean, I was on my way home and it was, I was on my way home and all of a sudden this happens and I can actually write the book about it. And, it's about the ability to have a winning attitude. There's a quotation by, who says, what's his name? Opportunity, I'm not a product of my circumstances, I'm a product of my decisions, and sometimes having a winning attitude is a decision that we have to make. So
now we look at this journey. It all started down there. You came out and you're now the tax consultant that you wanted to be. You've achieved the goal that you want to be. But you've gone beyond that, and the point that you've gone beyond was the fact that you now teach other people how to enhance that abilities and how to take negatives, turn them into positives. You do also quote Richard Branson's book, Screw It, Let's Do It.
Yeah.
One of my favorite ones, and I quote that one all the time, and I understand where you're going there. So the minute I saw you quoting him, I automatically knew on what page you were.
Okay.
And so I understood where you're going. I know that people in your thinking doesn't believe that there are anything like mistakes. And there are no such thing as failures. Yeah. They're just this turning around point that leads you into a greater good.
Yeah.
And they're just there to correct the path that you're on. you now go around advocating those kind of things. Tell us a bit about those philosophies of success.
Yeah. So what happened, one of the stories, when I was in London, I also needed to do a presentation on the SA tax system. So you got this boy coming from Mitchell's Plain presenting to professionals about South African income tax. And I also needed to do an article. And this article, together with a picture of me standing at the Tower of London, was placed in international newsletter and distributed throughout the world. So a few months later, I was back home and I had my degree, had international experience, and I had this amazing newsletter which reads, I've got a passion for tax and always seek ways to broaden my knowledge, skills, and experience. So you have to use the resources that's available to you to make a difference in your career, but also to make a difference in your life. And I use all these examples in certain talks that I've started presenting to different schools and to different corporate companies about my philosophy of creating opportunities instead of waiting for things to happen. And a lot of the stuff I deal with was actually, sometimes we go to the office and we sit down and we sit for 8 hours and we forget about the opportunities that are around us. So all of us are unique. You've got unique abilities. Your talents is not only about technical skills or interpersonal skills that you actually need to do your job. You've got those hidden talents. And I say you have to use those hidden talents to develop your skills and to sometimes showcase your talents at the office.
Do you believe that sometimes people and employees, if I can just put it that way, do you believe that sometimes they're on a very passenger bus, if I can call it that, where people just come in, do what they do, leave, but they are not absorbing? Because I know that you talk about opportunities. There are other things happening around you that you're supposed to tap into that you're not, because you're just doing the motions every day. What's your thoughts about that?
Absolutely. I mean, for me, going to work is more of an adventure. A lot of people go to the office and they just do their job and that's it, they come home. But in Robin Sharma's book, The Leader, in the title, it says, work offers you a daily platform to discover the leader within. It is a chance to reclaim more of the potential you've buried and to awaken the dormant relationship between your current and your absolute best. And work isn't just merely a vehicle used to pass time and pay bills. It is a gift.
You talk to employees, you tell them that they should be the leader in their jobs. So although that you have a company that has a CEO, MD, and whatever it might be, the usual run, you tell an employee on any level to be the best that they can and to be a leader in their job. Do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah. I mean, there's a quotation by Martin Luther King. He says that if a man is called to be a street sweeper, you should sweep the streets like Michelangelo painted, Beethoven composed music, Shakespeare poetry. You should sweep the streets so well that all heaven and earth will pause to say, now there lived a great street sweeper who did his job well. And that was a defining moment for me when I started doing this job to the best of my ability. Opportunities are created and amazing things will start to happen. So I'm trying to encourage people, instead of just sitting down, go out and expand your network at the office. Get to know people in other departments. Don't limit yourself to the people in your own departments, and try different things that's going to try to develop your skills instead of maybe just coming to the office, sitting down for 8 hours and going home. Just try to think a bit differently, out of the box, and this philosophy, can open lots of doors.
Lance Brown, what did you tell yourself, your younger self, today?
I would probably say that the importance of studying. You need to do it when you finish school. Don't go.
The gap year? There's no gap year.
No gap year, absolutely not.
I'm sorry for you saying that. I'm anti-gap year.
Yeah, no gap year. I mean, it's vitally important that you continue improving yourself, improving your skills, your abilities, and don't start when you're 27 with your degree. But when you are there and you've missed those and you weren't able to, for example, study, it's never too late as well. So you need
I think that's important.
Yeah.
So you're saying that even though that you didn't go and get a degree, it's never too late. Whether you're 40 or 50, it's fine.
Absolutely. It's never too late. I was 27 and it took me 7 years. And during this process, my wife, I finished my degree when I was in October 2008, and my daughter was born in November 2008. And a year later, my wife decided to do her marketing degree part-time, and I needed to support her. And she was, in the mid-30s at the time. So it's absolutely never too late to start your qualification or anything that you set out to achieve.
Seeing something that you're doing, for you personally, is it about the fact that you're doing what you want to do, or is it about financial stability? Because we have two levels of thinking here. Some people are saying that, okay, well, we need financial stability. We live in an economy that is sitting here and there and the other. So we understand that throughout the world, you must have financial stability. But at the same time, do you believe that it's a different level of achievement to get to a point that you set out for yourself.
Yeah.
Because you quote the story of Michelangelo and the street sweeper.
Yeah.
So for me, what I'm gathering from that is not the fact that the street sweeper is by no means a degraded job.
Yeah.
If that was what the man wanted to do and that was what he understood as success
Yeah.
and did the best at it, then it's still a winner. That's my understanding.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts about that?
Absolutely. It depends on yourself. I believe that, I continuously want to improve, and I know that, I enjoy what I do, and it provides that financial stability. But there's more that I want to achieve in life. Some people are happy just doing one job for the rest of their life, and that's okay. But if you know that, there's more, and there's more people that you can actually go out and inspire, and there's ways that you can actually develop yourself, you need to actually just do that. So I've got a job, and it's, financially, I've got the family that I need to support. But there's other things, for example, improving my presentation skills, which I do on a regular basis. I've got to speak at some nice events. So you're continuously pushing yourself, pushing the limits. But if you're happy with what you're doing, that's absolutely fine as well. It comes down to the individual at the end of the day.
You also mentioned one very important part, and that was the first time that you took the stage.
Yeah.
I think by default you were put up there to make some announcement or something was going on.
Yeah.
But you migrate from there and you go and speak at TED Talks. And
Yes.
that's a big gap in between. How did that happen?
It just came upon the presentation skills by chance. Sitting in, I got an email from our company in Joburg, and they had this group where you actually go and speak and improve your presentation skills. And I heard about this group many, many years ago. So I contacted the people in Joburg, and I said, isn't there a group like this in Cape Town? Because, this is something that I need to work on. And they said, there's a group right in your office that meets once a month. And the first meeting I went to, the second one, they asked me to speak, and I prepared this 1-minute talk. And I think it lasted about 20 seconds because I stood up there.
But it felt like 20 years.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was something new, but it's something that, was challenging me and something that I needed to work on. So I really, putting a lot of energy and into my presentations that I put out there.
Lance, there are people in your life, and I know this from my own story.
Yeah.
And just a few days ago, I did some interviews, and one of the questions that I was asked was what you attribute to success. And I said that there's a few things. I don't know, it depends what you define as success.
Yeah.
I think we have all different definitions of success. It's not, some people see success to be money only.
Yeah.
I don't see it as that. I see it as doing what you love doing and being in the space that you want to be in.
Yeah.
That's my definition. In the end of the day, one of the things that I did say was that it's the people that you're surrounded by.
Yeah.
I see success in key people that you're surrounded by, and that's my opinion. You, in my view, are surrounded by key people that today you should stop and say, thank you for being part of that.
Yeah.
Who are those people in your life?
Well, there's many people. I mentioned in the book one story when I was about 18 years old when I first stepped into a gym. And this gym wasn't like the gym that you find these days with all the fancy equipment. There was no like spinning
I remember
classes.
the story, yes.
So it was a gym in a council facility filled with weights. Us kids were taken off the street and we were given hope through exercise.
Yes.
That through weight training you can actually change your mindset.
Correct.
And that's what it taught me. When you think that you're done, that you cannot go on, somebody will come up next to you and say, come on, Lance, give me 2 more. I know that you can do it. And these are the people that got that foundation to say that whenever you set yourself a goal, you can achieve it. There's going to be obstacles that's going to come in your way, but you have to remain focused. And that was, and as you go along, you get married and you realize you've got a family to support as well. So you know that when you set yourself a goal, it's not just for yourself. You're going to be impacting other people as well.
Just by person, it's the wife.
It's the wife.
The children. Has your parents played a role in that? Are they still around today?
Yeah, I lost my dad a few years ago, but my mom is around.
Did you lose your dad at the time that you got the degree or after the degree?
After the degree.
After the degree.
Yeah.
What would he have said now if he was speaking to you from heaven? What do you hear him say?
Yeah. Wow, there's so much that has taken, place since he's left the earth. But I continuously get people that actually give me feedback and saying, your dad is going to be so proud of you. Your dad is looking down on you at the moment and so proud of what you've achieved and what you are doing. Trying to inspire your students, going out there and doing some talks. And there's a bit of comfort in knowing that, I'm just doing things to the best of my ability and I know that he's going to be proud of me.
Because, in the end of the day, I think that youth watching the show today, I think that they are concerned about one thing and they worry about one thing, and that's that their parents are forever yapping and nagging and shouting, please study and do this and the other. But until they reach your age and my age, and we're in the real world, battling the real battles, do they understand what the parents have actually been speaking about?
Yeah.
So those are the things that probably come back to you all these years later, thinking about those kind of things.
Yeah.
I know that you're busy, a busy man, talking to youth, talking to various corporates about how to be a driver of change.
Yeah.
How do people get in touch with you? Is there a website that we can go to?
Yeah.
And can people contact you and book you to come and speak at their events?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've got a website which is www.lancebrown.co.za, and all my contact details are on the website. And I've also got one of my talks, my TEDx talk, which is entitled the Small Leap from Suspect to Success. So it'll be, you can see one of my talks there, but you're welcome to contact me via my website, or all my contact details are on the website as well.
And the sequel to the book?
It's a busy work in progress at the moment. I've started collating the information, and definitely what I need to do is just put a deadline on it, but it's something I will make a decision about in the next couple of weeks. Yeah.
Lance, it's been nice chatting to you. I wish you well in your endeavors. I would like to have you back soon as you develop and your new book goes out and all those kind of things, so we can catch up and find out exactly what you're up to.
Perfect. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Lance. Lance Brown, the driver of change, as you can see. Interesting, motivational story, especially for the youth and those out there looking to find better place and greener pastures within their work environment. To get in contact with him if you require his services to come and talk at your events or anything like that. Until next time, thank you for joining us. Goodbye.